This episode is brought to you by Bellator's Publishing, bringing stories to the world that last forever.
Today on Faithfully Fantasy.
Did you notice that Violet is counting the seconds again? She's like, 1, this happens. 2, this happens. In a heartbeat, this happens. And this made me think about what we were talking about last week and how potentially she can still manipulate time because she's been given Andana's gift.
The important thing here is that he was getting burned by the fire. Because I think with the other dragons, they can spit fire to the venom and nothing happens.
In Ressen, they set fire to the tower, don't they? And it explodes, but he just walks out.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first time that she breathed fire, and her fire is burning the
venom.
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy.
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Iron Flame.
I'm JC.
And I'm Sean.
And today we'll be with the penultimate episode of the season of Faithfully Fantasy.
Join us as we walk through chapters 62 and 63 of Iron Flame in a slight change to scheduling in an attempt to even out the last 2 episodes of Iron Flame coverage.
Also, spoiler warning, all film period including bonus chapters and promo content for Onyx's Storm.
There will not be any spoilers from the Dutch bookstore website. We since found out it was an unapproved release and loads of you are waiting until the 21st, so there won't be any spoilers from that particular release.
Also, just a quick reminder, if you haven't checked our shop, you can find some of the items featuring here, like the t-shirt that I'm wearing if you're watching us on YouTube, the mug that I have right behind me. All of these you can find in our shop on Etsy, so it's just looking for Faithfully Fantasy or look for the link on our website, faithfullyfantasy.com. And without further ado, let's go for the summary.
We pick up where we left off with Ree on the back of 10, taking on a Dark Wielder. We make short work of that one before Ree drops back onto Vierge's back. We see Sawyer is in trouble. We witness some pretty amazing acrobatics from Violet and we get Sawyer to the ground, but he's not in one piece. Andana breathes fire. We find out that 7 is the magic number. We take on Melgren and General Sorengale in a bid to raise the wards again, and we find out who the Venom are waiting for.
Okay. It's getting now interesting now that we're going into the last chapters of this book.
Don't you think there's so much still to happen? Like, obviously we're on the reread. There's so much still to happen, and we've literally got 5 chapters left.
The thing that surprised me is like when you think that you start to know like everything about Saddam, boom, he comes with another layer and you have no clue where this guy is.
I've got some ideas, as usual. So shall we start with chapter 62 and dive straight into the epigraph?
Okay, epigraph.
The easiest way to defeat a dragon is to kill its rider. Though the creature will most likely survive the blow, it will be stunned long enough to be felled. Chapter 3, The Tactical Guide to Defeating Dragons by Colonel Elijah Yobin.
Anything to say about this epigraph?
So it must be a book from Cordin. It must be a book from the Flyers, because this is telling the Flyers how to defeat the dragon. This isn't a book written by Venom. As far as we know, Venom don't write books. They might do.
Yes.
But not after they turn Venom anyway. It did make me think we were losing someone. The first time I read it, I was like, this is Liam all over again.
Yes.
Obviously, that is the intention. We do definitely lose someone. We notice the body of a dragon. I thought when I first read it that this was it for Riddick or Sawyer.
I completely get this epigraph because you always say that you are as strong as your weakest link. And then between a dragon and a human, the human normally is always the weakest link. But I guess all depends as well on the signal of this person. Because if you go after Saidan or after Violet can kill a dragon easily with a lightning as well. So who is the weakest link here?
Yeah, I think though, because it's for the Flyers, you would be a flyer. Killing a dragon is almost unheard of, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's why everyone was so shocked to hear that Day Liam's dragon was killed by Griffin, attacked by Griffin, and obviously he wasn't. We didn't lose many active dragons because of the flyers. It's the venom that have been taking them down, and the wyvern.
Okay, let's start with the chapter. So, as you remember the previous chapter, that chapter ends with Rihanna landing and turns back because there's a venom as well there. So Violet is just freaking out, like, no, it's happening again. One of my friends is coming here to rescue me, it's like to sacrifice.
She didn't even need her though, did she? Let's face it, Violet killed that venom.
Maybe from Ree's point of view, she said that maybe Violet is trying to get out of the saddle and she is stuck. So she thinks she is just there, not able to defend against the venom if she is just all the time in the saddle. So she just not thinking, she just acting and goes to help. But obviously she forgot about what Violet can do now. That she can not only depend on the sickness, she has some weapons as well.
Yeah, she also has the little crossbow thing.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. So she given a little signs to Ree, so Ree understands. So she just goes down. And then she shoot the arrow that hits the sternum of the venom.
Do we know if it goes boom?
It's all coordinated.
Yeah, but isn't it a Meosite arrow? It should explode on contact, but doesn't seem to.
No, according we happen in this scene, Violet has to turn and Tree and you to go hard to the right.
So it could blow up in the air in the TV.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
But what happened is, yes, she hit the venom with the arrow, then turns, go to the right, the venom falls, and then is when you hear the explosion in the back.
I missed the explosion.
Yes, so it's when the venom is out, is when it explodes.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it doesn't explode immediately. So it hits and then turns, rolls,
and then boom.
Boom.
Cool.
Ree is grabbing, turns back.
She's amazing, isn't she? She's so strong.
And Violet is helping as well. She's feeling the pain, but she is not dropping her friend this time. So they are both safe.
But she's like, you reckless, irresponsible. And then Ree's like, you're welcome. But I'm not really sure what she's saying you're welcome for. Because she distracts the venom long enough for Violet to remember she has a crossbow.
Yes.
Maybe that's what it is. And then she just smiles at her and then jumps off. She's so cool, Ree.
Yeah.
If I could hope to be as cool as anyone in life, it would be Ree, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool when you see that in the adaptation on TV. All these things happening, so coordinated.
Yeah.
And then, the two friends are just fine.
Yeah. I love these bits and I feel them so vividly. And, I don't see things in my head. Mm-hmm. So even when I'm reading, I can't picture it, but I feel it so much. I know exactly what's happening. I know exactly what Ree looks like in this situation. I just can't see it happening. So to be able to see it will be really cool.
The action part doesn't just finish here because there's more people, they need help.
Yeah. I don't know if you were going to talk about Quinn, but I wanted to just touch on Quinn. She chooses a labyrinth, and I had to use on my Kindle the link to Wiki. It brings up Wikipedia if you don't know what a word means. Mm-hmm. Labyrinth, I don't know. I couldn't get the pronunciation. It's a double-sided axe, which I think is explained in the same sentence. I looked at it before I finished the sentence. But who would choose one of these? And that, it's just a really heavy double-ended axe. But what she does with it is pretty gruesome. She hacks at the back of
chopping heads or something like that.
She hacks at the shoulder blades of a wyvern.
Yes.
Gross. But I just don't know what would make you choose that as a weapon when you have crossbolts that can fire arrows. Why you just want? I don't know. A double-ended axe seems heavy and cumbersome to me. Wouldn't be my weapon of choice.
That would be obviously a weapon that is short fight, and for a venom, you have a lot of chances when you fight on the distance. Even when sometimes they could be faster than a dagger when you throw it.
Do you think you could put an alloy in the hilt of this axe?
I think if you have plenty of space, why not?
It's just a blade.
Yeah,
there's no reason it has to be a dagger, is it?
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of things going on here. The first thing that Violet sees after Ree jumps back to her dragon is that Sagel is outnumbered. But that Tern says if she needs help, she will ask for help. Which I think is really cool that you had that much confidence in your partner. That, Tern is saying that Sagel is so strong that he trusts her, that she will be able to win even when she is outmatched.
I don't think she would ever ask for help. You know, like me, I'm always asked for help, even if it's like, can you pass me that thing that's over there that I'm probably closest to?
Yeah.
I would always ask for help. I don't think Sagale would. I mean, how bad would it have to get before Sagale admits that she needs help from Tern?
Yeah.
Pretty bad, I would say.
Yeah, I think if I Tern trying to help her, she will be like really cross
Offended.
with it. Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Focus on your own life. I got mine sorted.
Yes, but what I see here is like Violet is having like a little bit of panic moment. Then nothing happened with Ree. So like, okay, if Ree is fine, that means there's something else going to go wrong. So it's like, Sagel, she's fine. She will ask for her. Andana. And then Andana, unknowingly hide.
Yeah, I'm annoyingly safe here. I wanted to say that it seemed like they were saying that most of the Dark Wielders were holding back for another wave.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the wave that gets downed by the wards when they come up in the next few chapters? Or is this a wave that is going to come in Onyx Storm?
The way that I understand, it's come the whole hordes with wyverns and venom.
They're waiting now.
Then just a few of them comes to attack first, like the first wave. So Dragon's Riding kill all the first wave, but the other ones are still holding, and they're waiting for the general to arrive. So at this moment, the general is not there.
Yeah.
Then when the general arrives is when the second battle starts. And then this one is when is obviously the rest of the wyverns and venom attacking. And here's when the wars goes back to life. And then it doesn't matter how many other wyverns and venom are.
They can't
hiding.
get in.
Yeah.
But then they do. We know from the Cosmo article.
There's more
within the walls, but you don't know when they got in or...
No, I think what happened is that once the walls are on, all the wyverns die. The venom, they lose the power. So they can't wield power anymore. They had to run or they had to do something.
So,
they had to escape.
I have something to say about
And some of them
this.
are hiding.
I have something to say about this, and I think I'll wait until later, until there's a bit that makes me question that. So we'll get to it.
Okay. Violet Kila in the look to see who needs help. Then she sees the Atron needs help. They has like 3 wyverns there.
How bad is his injury? Like, we know that Atron gets injured.
Yes.
How bad is it? We don't find out. What does this mean for Riddick?
We know that by the end of everything, Riddick is still dead.
Yeah, but if in the second wave, if Atron is so injured, can Atron still channel? Is Riddick as good as infantry at this point? I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but is he basically, can he wield? Can he ice wield? Or is...
Yeah, I think as long the dragon is still alive, he's just the source. So he's like the connection. So as long the dragon is still alive, the conduit or the bridge is still there. So he can just wield it as normal.
Okay, phew. Just worried for Riddick.
Well... that is not the thing to be worried about. Doesn't mean that he's going to be fine for the rest of the book.
Not this again.
We had to wait and see. So they're going to help because obviously Atron is in big trouble. Redux is even trying to release his dragon from the wyvern. He's like trying to stab it with a sword, but nothing is working. Sawyer goes to the rescue as well. He just got there with the dragon. So it's these 2 dragons trying to fight against all these wyverns. So Tern goes ahead and he just hits one with the tail. And even Violet says that there's this sound of cracking bones.
Yeah.
Yes. And the wyvern falls.
Did you notice that Violet is counting the seconds again? She's like 1, this happens. 2, this happens. In a heartbeat, this happens. And this made me think about what we were talking about last week and how potentially she can still manipulate time because she's been given Andana's gift. And this is the second time in 2 chapters that she has been like counting in seconds. And there's this, and then a little bit later when 10 is a minute away and so much happens in a minute that it's got to be more than a minute, feels like she's slowing time again so that more can be achieved in less time.
Yes. As well as in this scene when she says that time goes slow.
Yeah.
Because so much thing is going on at the same time. So she can see that Sawyer is in trouble, Reddock is in trouble. And then she realized that they need to help both. But 10 can be just in one place at a time because more wyvern coming. So she said time goes slow. So it's like when she needs the time go slow, then the time goes slow. Or she feel, obviously, as a writer, Rebecca Yarros is saying that everything is happening in slow motion because it's like too much for the brain to just digest. But we are on the lookout for second meanings.
Yeah, but so this is the question. Is it a gift that Andana gave to her and she also has a second signet? Or if you bond with a feathertail, are you gifted their gift and then that's what you channel? That's what happens when you channel. That's just what happens. You don't get a second signet because that's just what you're doing. So we think that she's a truth sayer, right? But actually, and I think there's another hint to truth sayer in this next couple of chapters. But actually, it could be that if you bond at feathertail stage, you don't get a second signet because you're gifted their gift. And that actually becomes your signet gift. It's nothing to do with you as a person. It's actually just to do with what the feathertail had at the time. And Dana no longer has access to that power. She just has pure power, just like Tan or just like anybody else.
Yes.
This has just made me, like, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I wonder what Tan's gift was when he was a feathertail. I wonder if we'll ever find out.
I don't know if I will remember. It would be like 150 years ago, something
I
like
think
this.
he'll remember. It's like the first power you get. How awesome would that be as a child? You'd be like, yeah, I got power.
The thing that I remember in Fort Wind when Andana said that, yeah, she can stop time. And then Turner just saying, yeah, Feathertail had like these like rare powers. But he doesn't look like surprised. He doesn't look like, oh my God, I can believe that she can stop time.
Yeah, it's not an ultra rare one.
Yeah. So I wonder like if that's what it means that if a humans first found out that feathertails are baby dragons, well, juvenile dragons, and they can give the power directly to them, that was like the reason why they start to see that they will be start to like hunting the feathertails because they don't need signet. They can just make the feathertail to pass that gift.
Do you think even a feathertail would do that? Like, and it depends who I don't think it depends. Like, you got two grown up dragons to contend with. They're protecting their children. I don't think they would just I find this a little bit odd that they're so worried that the leadership will go after the feathertails, because really the whole point of bonds is to protect the veil, and like, why would you? Doesn't make sense. Yeah, you've got some corrupt people like Atos that might do that, but
well, for Wing, Jack and the other two, they were trying to kill the feathertail. So with 3 cadets, if they think they can kill a feathertail, that might be is because the size is not that impressive. If they think that just 3 men can kill it.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So they might think, okay, if we find out that they can pass on the gift, it's like, okay, if you don't pass your gift, we just kill you or something like this. So I don't know if it's a self-defense for the feathertail.
Maybe, until like somebody, big mama dragon comes along and is like, you talking to my baby? Back off. And then like roasts them.
Yes.
That was the sound effect for being roasted, by the way.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about it in edition.
I digress.
Yes, Violet is looking the time is slowing down, and then she realized that time can be in more than one place. She needs to do something. And then when she decided she need to act as well, so she says to Tam, "Forgive me," and then "Stay in your saddle," and she just jumps, looking for Redox first. And while she's falling, she says to Tam, like, "Get rid of the other ones and just come to help me." And she lands in Atron, and she is like amazed. Oh my God, holy shit, I did it.
Yeah.
And Rita is like looking at the same expression, like, oh, holy shit, she did it. And he like trying to get rid of the wyvern, but he said that this thing, it won't move. So Violet comes with a plan, given the crossbow, like, okay, just shoot into the wyvern after I jumps to help Sawyer. And then after you, what? And she doesn't explain, she just runs and goes and jumps. And that's what Rita does. Once Violet is not there anymore, boom. But one thing that's really important, before all this happened, Sawyer was trying to help his dragon as well, because the wyvern is attacking. And when he was like kicking the mouth of the wyvern attacks, and Sawyer loses their leg. So it's in this part where his leg is chopped.
So I think it's temporary. I think he's going to get a metal leg. It's going to be the hiccup of Navarre.
He can manipulate metal, so better for him to start to doing something about it.
Yeah. I don't think it's the end for him anyway.
I remember that when we saw the essay from Cosmopolitan, and then we see that Sawyer was an infirmary. He was already like feeling blue because they were venting attacking and he can't do anything. He just need to stay there.
Yeah, but he can't necessarily fight, but he could still manipulate metal. He could still work in the forge, or he could still, you know, like how menders, unless they're Brennan on the front line for some reason during the rebellion 6 years ago, menders often stay behind, don't they, and work with healers. There's no reason why he can't be an active rider. He just...
Yeah, it kind of more options, I guess. If he can be in the front line or defense, he can be teacher, he can be like strategy.
He can work with Felix, like making conduits for everyone.
Yeah. Could be, I don't know, Kaori assistant, so he's not losing books everywhere.
I'm sorry, but that would be a waste. Kaori needs to look after his own shit. Sorry. So Violet is dragon surfing at this point. Like, first she lands on Atrum, then she goes to Sleek.
Yes.
Can we just remember, and this comes back later, I'm going to quote Andana, "You do not talk to dragons, you do not ride, human."
True.
Unless you're Violet Sorrengail and you just talk to any old dragon. And we...
live to tell it.
Yeah. We have this... there's this amazing theory that we found about Violet having dragon blood or something. And we have a pinned reel on Instagram that explains that. The biggest challenge that we get to that in the comments, which kind of went off the scale, is that Violet does not communicate with other dragons. But I think that's because people are thinking that when we say communicate with other dragons, they mean mind to mind.
Mentally, yeah.
There is only one instance of Violet speaking mind to it's in italics in the book, which normally means that somebody's speaking mind to mind.
So thinking.
Yeah, and that is when Bade comes for them in the land nav exercise.
Yes.
And that is in part 1 of Iron Flame. And this is what I mean. She communicates with other dragons out loud. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's speaking mind to mind. She asks, or she tells Sleek, she's like, let me help him. Sleek is a red daggertail. You don't go into a conversation with a red daggertail. Like, that's just not what you do. Obviously, Sleek knows that he needs help at this moment in time, and that there's no way to save Sleek and Sawyer. So there's definitely help needed. So you can be like, yeah, well, Sleek just knew that Violet was needed at that time. So hanging off a horn is fine. Doesn't matter. But you got to remember that nobody, like, would Ree get away with that? I mean, Ree jumps on 10. So maybe.
Well, she wasn't talking. She was just
did it.
in word. But the thing is, when you see the Esa rider talking, not directly or even sometimes like indirectly to a dragon, like when Rita was talking to Andarna, and she said like, oh, look at the mini turn or something like this. Andarna, she got really cross with him, and she even tried to like attack, or she was like telling him like, watch out when you're talking. That happens most of the time. The dragon is going to do something like to make you clear that you're not supposed to talk to me. But the time that we see Violet talking directly to a dragon, like in this scene, it's like looking at her like annoying, but he's not doing anything else. Like, yeah, she's right. I can't do anything else. The same when she's talking to Kodak. Kodak doesn't do anything to attack her or say like, you're not talking to me or anything. Like, it's looking annoying or whatever, but he's listening.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing though, isn't it? That you could say that that's because he knows that Andarna isn't normal, one of the normal 6, and he knows that they need the wards back up. So he's going to listen to her, and that's the biggest rebuttal that we get. Like, and I totally get it, but you do not speak to dragons you don't ride, and that's the crux of it. But Violet is just like dragon surfing, being like, don't mind me, Sleek, let me help, kind of thing. It doesn't seem normal, does it?
True.
Dragons are haughty, like annoying creatures, aren't they?
It's basically like they only can bear the rider, because I don't see in this point that a dragon that's like having like really good like open friendship with the rider. It's just like they are like collaborating. Maybe Andarna when she was a feather tail, but even now as a big dragon, she's all the time like against Violet. So she's like a teenager, like trying. Violet says something and she like replies back.
Yeah, but that like Violet is a little bit like she treats her like a baby, which would annoy, doesn't it? It annoys children, doesn't it, when you talk to them like a baby?
Yes, but that's what I mean. That I don't see like a dragon being like, I don't know, friendly, having like a proper relationship. They say to the rider, "I love you" or "I miss you" or anything like that. So it's just like this relationship. There's everything is for battle, everything is to protect the veil of the wars, and that's it.
I think there's a bit of foreshadowing for Lilith, for what's going to happen to Lilith in the next chapters, because as Violet jumps, all her loved ones cross her mind, and she's like, Mira, Brennan, bum, bum. The last one is Lilith, and that's the last face she sees before she lands, and that for me feels like, yeah, that could have been foreshadowing. You wouldn't have spotted it. But now you know.
The thing could be maybe a list of the people who are going to die in which order, like Final Destination.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So Violet grabs Sawyer from his leg, then the fall, and she's just telling to Taryn, catch me. And Taryn like, silver one. And Zaydan is the one like,
what are you doing?
what do you think I'm doing? And there's a part here that for me, I don't know how to take it, because there's another like reference to the fall is slowing down. So she's talking about like Zaydan is just like reaching all his power, all the limit to trying to at least like slowing down their fall.
It just can't reach.
Yeah, so it's like the only thing that he's doing is basically just slowing down the fall. But again, it's just like, is he actually Zaydan doing this, or is Violet the one who is like slowing down like the moment, like how it happens in Reason, that everything is going as loud, and then Andarna was like who was rescuing her. Yeah,
but at that time, Violet had to make a conscious effort. And the same with the squad battle at the end of Fourth Wing, or towards the end of Fourth Wing, when Jack got squashed by the mountain, when she was saving Liam.
Yes.
She had to consciously think about her and Taryn, didn't she? She had to kind of say, we're the ones going fast. Everything else slows down. So did she have to consciously, if she had to consciously think about keeping Taryn fast, everyone else would have slowed it. She would have known that she was doing it. Or is it not like that anymore?
And fourth win was Andarna, the one who was slowing time, so it wasn't Violet. But here it's like when Violet feels, oh, she needs something to slow down, then that's the part that slows. So here she is the one who is saying the fall slows. She needs a fall slow so 10 can come on time and catch them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. But yes, he does this.
As if he wouldn't.
Like, what was your plan? Just waiting for me to catch you. Exactly. Like, if you wanna. Then she says, do me a favor. We need to take Sawyer to the healers. It has to be now the healers because no mender can do anything with something that is not there.
And now we find out that Brennan has mended the wardstone. I think this whole conversation is totally sus. Your brother has mended the stone into one piece but does not feel hopeful. My heart rises just to fall. Well, that's great. Why? Can it not be imbued? Marb is not keen on details. Right, there's some bad blood between Ten and Marb. Clearly,
Yes.
Ten wants to know what happened after Nailin died, inverted air quotes, whatever. Marb has not told him anything. So I think there's beef between Ten and Marb. Ten doesn't like Brennan. Sigale doesn't like Brennan. Marb isn't telling Ten the whole story about the wards. We have speculated that maybe Brennan didn't actually want the wards up because it might affect the way that the rune on his hand, whatever that's doing, is acting, or it might be stopping him from channeling too much, but he's still got access to Marb's power, so he's still going to be fine. He's still going to be able to wield, we think. But this whole thing is Brennan just repairing the stone because he thinks that there's no hope that Violet can raise them anyway, because he knows that the wards in Erasure are failing and everything.
I think from Brennan's experience at this point, could be that, yes, the stone is in one piece now, but if they want to put the walls on, they have to mute it, and there's no time to do it because he knows that it took like weeks for 3 riders to imbue the one in Erasure, and that one was smaller than this one in Basgayath. So I'm thinking that Brennan say, well, yeah, it's done, but there's
It's
nothing
cold.
that we can do anywhere. It's completely empty. And if we want to do something that's going to take time, for me, it's just Brennan helping because he knows there's nothing that he can do to put the words on just on time.
That makes sense.
So they land, and Violet is asking for help. Turns out that I ask for help as well. Help is coming, and the help is marrying with Kat.
But there's a time where she literally asks, she tells Malik that
You
he
know,
can't
they
have
take
her.
it this one. Yes.
Do you think Malik listens to Violet? She's like, you can't have him, I tell Malik, shifting to Neil in the Scarlet Snow. You took Liam, you may not have Sawyer. I genuinely thought that we were losing him because the first time I read it, he was unresponsive for a while. Like, she was searching for a pulse. Like, he was not good. And this is another kind of nod to the fact that she has some connection to Malik.
Yeah, she's been a couple of times that she always like interfering in Malik's will.
Yeah. So if Malik is real, and I do genuinely believe we're going to meet Malik, I'm not going to say it again, who I think it is. Yeah, we're going to meet Malik. And then he's going to be like, remember that time you wouldn't let me have this person? Remember that time you wouldn't let me have this person? But I do get the feeling that Malik is listening to her.
I will be there. She is a demigod as well, like Satan.
Yeah. So they land and Kat and...
Marion,
Marion.
Kat, they arrive with the griffin, they're running.
Where is Kira Lair and Bragan's griffin? Kira Lair's cat's griffin. Where is Bragan's? They're running behind on foot.
I guess it's because there's so much chaos. Griffins have to be somewhere. Flyers another one.
Yeah, like totally cards on the table. They needed Kat not to be able to leave quickly, didn't they?
Yeah.
So Kira Lair couldn't be there.
Yeah.
Rebecca Yarros needed Cat to be basically grounded.
Yes. Be the last one to live.
Yeah, and there was a risk that, because obviously, as we'll hear in a minute, Violet gets lifted off the ground and Cat was still on the ground, and there was always a risk that she needed the danger to be there, that Cat couldn't just fly away.
Yeah. Marin takes Sawyer. They're going to take her to the healers. Cat, she's behind. And then she given a dagger to Violet.
Did you know what a litter was? This is the second thing I had to Google.
No.
So Darjeeling was pulling a litter behind her, and I was like, litter? The only things I know that's litter is like rubbish on the ground. And I was like, is she like just pulling all this war rubble behind her? No, a litter is like a medieval cart that is used with like a bed or a sofa or something to carry wounded.
All right.
It was like, so she's pulling a cart. You learn something new every day. Cat continues to be a bit of a wretch. However, that's what it is on face value, where she's like, I saw what you did up there, and well, Kira did, and she told me, and it was amazing. Like, you did well. She didn't say amazing. I don't think Cat would ever say that. But then she's like, you would have done the same thing. And Cat says, I would have done it faster in a very British accent. I would have done it faster. Because all British people are bad in movies.
True.
Sorry, no, all bad people are British. Not all British people are bad. I feel like, sorry, everyone. I think this is the real moment where she gives her the dagger. And this is the real moment where I think she's trying to be funny here by saying, I would have done it faster. She's definitely not just being a bitch.
No. She's just like trying to break the ice, I think.
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of like friends.
This is the start of the alliance. I wouldn't go as far as saying friends.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, was like, okay, now we don't have to worry about Cat anymore because now everything is done.
I'm still worried about Cat. And I'm still worried about Cat, and we are going to have a bonus episode talking about Taylor Swift lyrics, and the one for Cat makes me quite worried.
Yes, Cat is in that list as well.
Yeah. Find out how to listen to that very soon.
Okay, so Tern feels that Sagel is in danger, so he goes to the rescue. Cat given the dagger, then she leaves, and Violet has like a little bit of break. So the condom falls to the ground, and she just like needs just a moment to just breathe. And then is when a Dark Wielder comes. But
she spots, before she sees the Dark Wielder, she spots one dead green clubtail.
Yes.
We find out it's not tiny. The only other one we know is Panchak. Panchak is not dead, because we're going to meet him in the next chapter.
So no,
that is not to say that is not Panchak's dragon. If Panchak is Venom, that could be his dragon dead on the floor and he could still be alive.
Yeah.
We know that from Jack. It'll be interesting to see if Panchak has his dragon.
If we see like in Onyx Stone or reference, Panchak, where's your dragon? Yes.
Oh, just in the Vale, where he normally is, actually.
Yes, eating something.
Yeah, hungry. And Panchak has no dragon anymore. How cool would that be?
Do you think that if they found, like in this case, a green dragon dead, they will know exactly which one is, or it's gonna be like it's a green dragon, but no idea.
Unidentified green clubtail. Kaori's got his notebook. If he knows where it is, if somebody hasn't stolen it, on all active dragons in service. So perhaps Kaori knows. Perhaps Kaori could identify it, but otherwise, I don't think so. I don't think you would
recognize the dragon.
They're all different sizes and things, but no, I'd say it'd be quite...
If you know how like one against another one, you can't compare exactly like the size.
Yeah.
You can tell the size when they are together, but when it's just a single one.
Yeah. I mean, if it is Panchak's dragon, it's pretty bad news for Panchak, because like he's going to have to just keep...
How are you still alive?
He's going to have to pretend. And then they're going to be like, Panchak, you need to go to Corden. And he's like, it will take me like 5 to 9 business days because I'll be going on foot, or I'll be going on horse. Yeah, he won't be able to hide it unless he like has a wyvern. It's like, yeah, I'll meet you there. I need to need to go somewhere in the meantime.
It's painting a wyvern with green paint. Putting like legs or arms. Wood and paper.
Cardboard arms. We'll see, though. I think there's a theory in there somewhere. This could be Panchek's dragon dead on the floor. Panchek is a venom.
We had a venom. Turner is the one who says to Violet, behind you! And there's this venom. There's a woman. Violet described her as a heart-shaped face. That she could be like undeniable beautiful when it was human. And this venom is like, oh, there's no point running. We both know that we'll drain the ground. Kat noticed the venom, so she comes back. And Violet's like, no, run.
And then she's like, yeah, I'll drain the ground, and this will all be for nothing. Which suggests the only reason they are there is to get Violet. Or they know of the connection. The only reason is to go and get Xaden. And they know of the connection that if Violet dies, potentially Xaden dies.
She says something really interesting.
Yeah, you'll be so much fun for him to wield. What does this mean?
For me, what my first thought was like, could be maybe the venom be able to grab Violet's signet, or you maybe use it as like a siphon and then just grab
all the power
and then just drain her, or maybe you can't drain her because she had maybe unlimited power if she has another like bridge with the sky, so you have like the unlimited power of the sky directly from Violet.
She very nearly burns out though twice, doesn't she? So you'd think that if she had unlimited power, she wouldn't burn out.
But I think it's because she was using the power for herself. But if somebody's grabbing her power, like open the archives from Turn and then just grabbing that power, that torrent of power coming.
Well, no, yeah, but then also when Sloane manifests in the caves when they're fighting Solus, she accidentally drains Violet, and Violet starts to feel
weak.
It takes her power, doesn't it? She's like overheating. She starts to feel weaker. So I don't think that is the case. If it is, then there's some weird things that have happened that contradict that. But I do think that potentially, if they believe that they can wield her lightning, they can make her wield lightning, and that's by maybe threatening Xaden or making her do something because they know her weakness. It could be that they would use her to kill dragons, because the only thing that kills dragons really is.
They're being mentioned that she's going to turn into a venom, so maybe that's what I mean as well. If she turns venom, the big boss of the venom has a lightning wielder.
Yeah, and she'll be able to zap all the dragons.
Yeah.
Instead of the wyvern.
Yeah.
But then another one comes in red leathers.
Yes. I found that weird. Red leathers.
So for me, he's a rider or a flyer because they wear leathers. Also, he lifts her off the ground. So I get the feeling he was a former rider and he was an air wielder, because you can still use, and perhaps he's still connected to his dragon. I don't know. We just don't know. But yeah, I thought it was weird because there's so many different, it's like non-uniform day. Everyone if you're a venom, you just wear what you want. Just wear whatever colour you want. Purple, red, maroon, leathers. I don't know. It just feels like there's no uniform. But they probably mean something.
Yeah, maybe it's coming from a different province or something. Like the way that he's dressing means something somewhere else. Maybe,
but I really feel like he's a rider. I really feel like he's an air wielder. I didn't go as far as seeing which air wielders we know about. I know there was one that was working with Nolan, keeping Jack suspended. But an air wielder is not that useful for a venom, because you drain the ground. Unless you want to keep someone safe, like Violet.
Yeah, but before this guy appears, Kat is messing around with the first venom. So it's just using the power against. And the name of this venom is Wind, I think. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna have your power.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. I will be the best.
Yeah.
I will be his favorite. It's like Bellatrix Lestrange. There we go.
Spoiler alert for Harry Potter.
I don't think that's a spoiler, but Wynn gives me Bellatrix vibes. She's like, I'll be his favorite. He'll have my babies.
Here you go. I said it before.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I refuse to believe it happened.
Violet, she used her power, and then lightning strikes, and boom, she is gone. And the other Vanning, the only thing that he says is fascinating.
Fascinating. Weirdo.
Violet is there with this banner saying, on my way, Satan is on my way as well, but Violet knows that they're just too far away. There's no help. They're just in front of this guy. And then she noticed that the cliff start to move. And she was like, what's that? It's like a boulder with silver and golden eyes coming to this guy, to the wyvern. And yes, she sees there's like a boulder. They just spring as a projectile, changing colors with black scales. And that is the end of the chapter. Chapter 63?
Chapter 63. Epigraph. I am alone in thinking the knowledge of wards, the protections they provide, should not solely benefit Navarre, and it has cost me everything. Journal of Lyra of Moraine, translated by Cadet Jacinia Neilwart. What did it cost her? Love?
Everything.
What is everything? Love?
Everything.
Soul?
What I found weird is that they're the sixth rider, the most powerful riders, and she is the only one who thinks that the world should be shared.
She's not, though, is she? So this is I had this question as well. Was she alone? Or was it just Warwick? And Warwick was the boss.
And the epigraph says, I'm alone thinking this. So what happened with the other four riders? Because we know that Warwick is said, no, this has to be just for Navarre. And Lyra is saying, no, we should share it with everyone else.
Yeah, what do the other four think?
Yeah.
And Lilith basically, and where are those journals? Sorry, Lilith said it was Warwick that wanted to keep it a secret.
Yes.
But what about the other four? Like, did they not have journals, or did they just not survive?
Maybe we don't know the names yet, and we'll find out later on the other books, the other journals of the other six, and we'll find out more of the story. I'm desperate
to know what Warwick's signet and Lyra's signets were. I also have a feeling, and I think I've said this before, that the seventh den dragon was also bonded to Lyra. So I think we're seeing history repeat itself in that Lyra had two dragons as well. And I wonder if the one thing it cost her was her other dragon. She's still alive because she's bonded to her other dragon. But Warwick potentially slayed her dragon to stop any more wards being created. I think the seventh den dragon that created the wards died. And unfortunately, I do think Andana will sacrifice herself.
I think they're unexpected not to see any more dragons from the seventh den. I'm expecting Andana is going to be the only one. Because if she is the only one, she's still being like a special character. If we find out there's more seven den dragons, then she is like losing a little bit unique.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you. It's just that we know from the back of the French book that they're going to find the seventh den. Or they're going to go and search for it. They might not find it.
They're going to
attempt
to find. Doesn't mean that they find it or they know they're more. So I think once they figure out that Andarna is one of the seven, then it's like, okay, then we need to see if there's more. So they're like in a search for more seven den dragons. But doesn't mean they find out their rumor, their stories, the seven den dragons living somewhere else or anything like that. It's just like, we need to have a look if there's more, because if we find more, then we can create the words in Arasia. So for me, there's a difference between they trying to find more and they know there's more.
And actually finding more.
Yes.
Yeah.
The chapter starts with Dark Wilder turns around, but then it's Andarna, the one who lands directly in front of him. She breathes fire at him, burning him, and then she tears the head straight off of the body.
And spits it out.
Spit it out. Violet is, what the actual fuck?
Is it the fire that killed the venom, or is it ripping his head off?
I think it's the combination. But the important thing here is that he was getting burned by the fire. Because I think with the other dragons, they can spit fire to the venom and nothing happens. They're immune to
because he
dragon
walks
fire.
out. Well, any kind of fire, because in Resin, they set fire to the tower, don't they? And it explodes, but he just walks out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here, I think there's another hint that how special is Andarna, because actually this is the first time that she breathes fire, and her fire is burning the venom. Violet is surprised, like, what? You were doing this? Like, and she like, yeah, I told you that I'm really good at hiding. And Violet like, that wasn't hiding.
It was like camouflage.
Proper camouflage.
Yeah. Chameleon type. 10 is a minute away, but a lot happens in this minute. This is the bit for me that makes me think that she slowed down time.
Another reference to the potential gift.
Yeah. Right, so then they're kind of talking about how bad things are looking. Atrium is already wounded. We don't know what that means. Would he be able to continue fighting? It sounds like not. It sounds like Atrium is pretty bad. Then Violet tells Andana, even after what she's just done, she's still treating Andana like a baby. She's saying, go to Marb. I think Andana is safer away from Marb. I don't trust Marb. I don't know yet. And obviously we don't know. But I think Violet should just shut up at this point. Like, I'm getting annoyed. I love Violet, but she is
totally Dane mode.
Yeah, she's babying Andana, and Andana is a massive dragon who is capable of burning and biting the heads off venom. One, they need her in this battle. They're not going to win it without her. Violet very nearly died just then, and Andana was the one that came to the rescue. And two, she can look after herself. Don't just... Anyway.
Zaydan is the one who tells her the Melgrain wants Dan to be in the Vale. So they want to move all the squad, but they need to have a meeting first.
Was he lying about them wanting to speak to both Zaydan and Violet? Because when Violet gets there, Lilith's like, what are you doing here? And Zaydan said they need to speak to both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zaydan was lying. He just wanted to come with him.
It's weird because it's her mother the one who says that, but then Melgrin is the one who says like she's never away from him.
Yeah, but didn't Melgrin say like I wanted to speak to both of them? Because Zaydan says I want to. I don't know if Zaydan's the one that's just assuming they want to speak to both.
For me, it's because they had the two more powerful dragons, so Terrence and Zagel, and they want the riders to start going to the Vale. So they want to retreat all the squad to protect the Vale and leave Basgaiath.
Well, yeah. They're just not willing to sacrifice Violet and Zaydan. They want them in the Vale because they're going to leave everyone else to die. Yes. They don't value the others as much. They
just want to hide in. Yeah. And leave the rest of Basgaiath to burn. Because the arcas are protected and the rest it can be rebuilt.
Do you agree that they shouldn't close the gate? Zaydan's like, we're not closing the gate.
Doesn't matter. I
mean, they're going to get in anyway.
Yeah.
And they need the access. I agreed with Zaydan. I thought it was a bit rude.
Yeah, Zaydan is like this kind of character that he tells the truth, regardless of how they're going to take it. Like in Fort Wayne, when they say, well, if none of you are going to help yourself, then just die, because I'm not going to help you if you don't want you help yourself. So it's the same here.
He doesn't have to be so grumpy.
One of these person goes to after Violet, and Violet is thinking that he's going to tell me again about the gate, and she's like, yeah, he's right, it's not going to help. So trying to be nice, and this person is like, no, stopping you because of that, stopping you because there's a scribe chasing you down. And then they see there's Jasenia coming with the journal. So Zaydan say okay, you told to her, said that she need to hide, going to the meeting with Melgrin. And then is when they had the conversation. And Jasenia is the one who said, yeah, I read the journal lyric, but she is lying. She can't be right, because she's saying that the 7 can't be 7.
It can't be 7, even though there's 7 circles on the wardstone. There's 7 runes on the wardstone. But it can't be 7. This is terrible detective work from Jacinia. I'm sorry. But 1, it's a 7, not a 6 plus 1, which is also 7. Why does Jacinia think that Lyra's journal is wrong? She goes on a bit of a monologue about how there's 7 circles on an erasure. There's 7 wards. So how can she not think that it's 7?
For me, the logical explanation that would say oh my god, there were 7 dragons before 600 years ago, but now we have only 6, so we are screwed because we don't have that dragon. So I think Jasenia should go to Violet. Yes, there's 7 then dragons, but we only have 6, which means that 1 has been extinct for how many years?
Yeah.
And then that still triggered to Violet. Oh my god, and Darna is the other then.
Yeah.
But no, is she right? No, she's wrong. It can't be 7. It's just 6 dragons. There's no more.
Yeah, it may be a sign, playing devil's advocate with myself. It may be a sign that she's a scribe. She's been taught this. She believes the archives are right. She's still struggling to get the fact that they've been lied to. Mm-hmm. But you don't go on about how there's 7 circles and 7 runes on the wardstone and then say, and also 6 plus 1 is 7. It's not like it's saying 6. Warwick does not lie. He says 6 and 1. Mm-hmm. Which is 7.
6 and
in no
combined.
world is that not 7. It gets me so angry, this whole thing, because 1, Jacinia is being a bit of an idiot, and 6 plus 1 is 7. How hard is it?
Warwick is saying 6 and 1 combined, and Lyra is 7 dragons.
They're the same thing.
So, yeah.
But actually, Warwick is being more explicit about it, because 6 riders have 6 dragons plus 1. Mm-hmm. He's being a bit more explicit. The riderless dragon, or the dragon that is bonded to another rider, we've got.
For me, I understand that as it's like the 6 regular dragons and the 1. There's the 7 then. There's a special
the one
dragon.
That's combined that mixes all the colours together.
Yeah. So it's still 7 dragons.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I think neither of them are lying. They're both saying the same thing, but Warwick is giving a bit more detail.
For more Warwick is giving more hints about it. They just block. Okay, if you didn't mistranslate it and everything's a 7, so we need to just figure out what does it mean. And Violet said, go to see Sawyer. So she explained what happened to Sawyer. So she goes, and then she only says to Violet, be safe. And Violet is just thinking about it, what could it be? 6 dragons and a griffin?
No, that couldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah, on the bone. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Hit it.
For the first time, I'm the one holding what might be the ultimate secret. This is the bit for me that's when it's not the first time. She held the secret of being able to do the wards in erasure. Mm-hmm. So that she could give the flyers the choice. But this is the ultimate secret, isn't it? That there's an extra den of dragons. And it's the nod to the truth sayer. She's quite impressed with herself that she's the one holding the ultimate secret. And that, to me, might be another hint to the truth sayer signet.
So she goes to the meeting with Melgrin.
And Panchak. This is where we find out Panchak is alive.
Yes.
And there's no note of red rimmed eyes or anything.
No. They're having a discussion about what do you think that this cadet, they're going to defend all of this against all these wyverns, all this venom? They're not. The most important thing is the veil. We had to go to the veil. Lilith Sorengel is saying the same as well. They had to go to the veil. And Violet is the one who's saying, no, we need to give it to Brennan the option to fix the walls because he's the one who can make the difference. And the general was well, but you're trying in a ratio that didn't work very well, isn't it?
Yeah, Lilith is playing a game here. She's playing a part. She's whispering some things to Violet and she's saying some things aloud for everyone else to hear. They're not in a big group of people. Surely everyone would hear everything. But she's definitely playing a game there, isn't she?
Violet is just raise the
for
walls.
once in my life, listen to me, or whatever she says. It's such a typical kid thing to say to their mom, isn't it?
Yes. So when they're in the middle of discussions, all of them, they look into the same place, and then Tern is the one who says to Violet, the leader has arrived. So they see there's a big wyvern coming, bigger than the other ones, with a venom and a royal blue.
Yeah, what's that about?
It has to be just rank. Because you're in royal blue, you're a general.
Oh, he's a leader. Is there a royal connection?
I don't know, because when the Satan's point of view, when he said that I'm not going to do something with a sage or something, and he was laughing, I'm not a sage, I'm a general.
Yeah, I'm a maven.
It could be the rank.
Made me think of either royalty. I think this is General Daramore. I really do.
No. The one who is waiting for Zaydan.
Do you think it's Zaydan's granddad?
Yes.
So there's another reason, and I did say in my notes, is there a link to Sigale? Is it
The color of the
important
tunic.
that it's blue and that's supposed to make us connect with Sigale?
Yeah. This one is definitely looking for Zaydan, and I think could be General Daramore or one of the Six, the one who has been living for centuries. We haven't seen it physically yet, because I think that one is going to be wearing a maroon tunic. The color is different from the other ones. So I think this one is going to be maroon when we finally see it, like face to face.
The one that we suspected might be Zaydan's granddad previously was in the dream, and he was not wearing blue.
He was wearing
Purple.
Yes. Violet recognized him as the same one of the nightmares.
So then what's with the colours?
He's like a uniform, royal blue for battle. They see this guy coming, and the Merlin says, okay, no more wasting time. We need to do something. We need to do it now. So they're like about to leave. And then
but she says, if we get the wards up, every dark wielder is powerless. And this is what I wanted to have a bit of a chat about. Mm-hmm. Nearly powerless, because then she's thinking of Jack Barlow. I'm going to skip forward to the Zaydan POV chapter. He is still wielding his shadows. I know that he's connected to Sigale.
Yes.
But we also suspect from the interview with Rebecca Yarros that Sigale is pissed off and she is not speaking. Don't you think that would have an effect on the channeling? Or do you think that Sigale can't help but channel? She could be pissed off with him as much as she wants, but she can't stop channeling.
Not sure how exactly works, because the rider is the one who builds something to control the power of the dragon. I don't know if the dragon can do exactly the same, build something to control the power who goes to the rider. I don't see why not. If the rider can do it, why the dragon can't?
Because they don't have thumbs.
To build mental wars.
Oh, mental wards. I thought you were talking about a conduit.
No, mental wars. That's what I mean. If they have something to control the power coming, why the dragon is not going to be able to do it? A lot of times turn
blocked
just
off.
Blocked, or he just go through the barriers, the valuables, and the mentally bound. But it's in the Cosmopolitan as well, when we see that Satan is being out with Garrick. So I'm assuming that he's flying in Sigale. I don't think he will be sharing dragon with Garrick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think it doesn't matter how pissed Sigale is with Satan
She's still
at the
his
beginning.
dragon.
They're still maybe she is not talking to him, but they're still working together.
Yeah, that's what Rebecca Yarros says, isn't it? She says in that interview, she said at the beginning of Onyx Storm, she won't be talking to him.
Yes. I can imagine how awkward could be just Satan flying and Sigale and then just not talking.
Mm.
Just working together, like two colors, they hate each other. So Melgrin is saying, okay, we're not going to waste more time. And then it's the General Sorangel who says, wait, this is my school. And we said, wait. And the Melgrin says,
it's my army. I think he's having a tantrum at this point.
Yeah. Then Satan is like, well, technically, it's half of your army because the other half is mine. And we said that we're going to wait. He said, okay, if you think that you can put the walls back, go with your mother and I try to buy you as much time as I can. They're not going to attack yet because they're still waiting. And Meglin said, like, fuck's sake, like, waiting for what? Satan said, they're waiting for me. And that's the end of the chapter.
What the fuck?
That's exactly what I thought.
So he says this to Melgrin. He doesn't just say it to Violet, right? He replies.
He says to everyone.
Yeah.
We're waiting for what?
Me.
Waiting for me.
And he just walks off.
See ya.
Yeah. Right. So how does he know? There's a few ways he could know. Intentions. He could be reading the intentions.
I think it's because there have been so many references about Satan is not being able to sleep neither. And he's been dreaming. So maybe in one of the dreams he say, I will be looking for you before the battle starts.
Yeah, it could be the dreams.
Yes.
It could be his granddad, and he just knows.
Mm-hmm.
Also, though, if you think about what's happening to Violet, the Venom that he's meeting could just be telling him. Because he's been fighting Venom, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been fighting Venom the same as Violet has. And Violet's like, I'm under strict orders not to kill you. She's getting information. Why would Zayden not be getting information like that as well? Also, like, it made me think of Garrick. Do you remember when Garrick's like, ask him about that Dark Wilder he took out? And Zayden's like, thanks, mate. Like, he did not want to talk about that.
Thanks, asshole.
Yeah. I think there could have been a conversation at that point as well. Like, there's so many times where Zayden has interacted with Venom where we weren't privy to the conversation. The Venom could literally just be saying, he's waiting for you. He won't attack until he's seen you.
Yeah, because every time there's a Venom against Violet, it's always like, the lightning wielder. So maybe we say that it's like, the dark wielder.
Yeah, the shadow wielder. Yeah. There's no reason why.
Yeah, and thinking that maybe Satan is getting the same attention that Violet's getting. Maybe not as much, but he has a really powerful signet. And it's like rare as well because we have no any other mentions about a shadow wielder.
No.
So it's like something unique as well.
I agree with you. It is a cliffhanger at the end of that chapter. And we don't get a resolution for it in Iron Flame. So that has got to be something we find out more about in Onyx Storm, isn't it? We've got to find out how he knew, what he knew, etc.
Yes.
So I think there's some answers to be found, hopefully, in Onyx Storm.
Well, Satan's point of view, there's a conversation with Satan and the general. And it seems the only mission of this general is turning Satan to a Venom.
That's what he's come for.
So he's like constantly telling like, come on, Shadow Wielder, what you have to do? You have to turn. I'm going to kill Violet. I'm going to do this.
Like cranking the handle.
Yes.
Winding him up.
So that was like his mission. And he was successful.
So well done once again for hanging on to the pommel as we deep dived chapters 62 and 63 of Iron Flame.
Join us next week for the ultimate episode of Iron Flame Deep Dive. And this one is going to be the 3 last chapters. It's going to be small chapters, but definitely we have so much things to say about those chapters.
64 is quite long, isn't it? Chapter 64.
Yes, 64 is a little bit long. Then 65, 66, there's Satan's point of view is really small, but packed. We had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Shall we sneak peek the epigraph of chapter 64 and then allow everyone to mentally prepare themselves for next week when we think about Liam once again?
Yeah.
You're going to love Violet. She's smart and stubborn. Reminds me a lot of you, actually. You just have to remember when you meet her, she is not her mother. Recovered correspondence of Cadet Liam Mari to Sloane Mari. So much happens in chapter 64.
Thanks for listening to Faithfully Fantasy,
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Iron Flame.
Be sure to head over on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod to join the conversation. We love hearing your thoughts, theories, and things and comments.
Also, don't forget to visit our website where you can find all our episodes and all the relevant links about us at www.faithfullyfantasy.com.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode. We say goodbye for now, but we'll see you next week with more Faithfully Fantasy.
Bye.